Cavs-Nets. KD had it going early in this one, and at the opportune time for Brooklyn, Bruce Brown, who had 18, 10, and 8, finds Durant for the wing three. KD shot 6 for 7 in the first quarter, 2 for 2 from deep, 16 points in the opening 12 minutes. Nets related to that, up 15 after the break, and perhaps some temptation to pop it into neutral, because in the second quarter, Cavs down 13, Darius Garland gets the steal. Nice finish on the reverse layup. Take another look at this one, pulling the Cavs within 11. Later in the second, it's a 9-point game with Durant in his face. Garland hits the triple. Cavs down 8 at the break. In the third quarter now, Cavs down 4. Cedi Osman drives and kicks to Garland for 3. He had 31. Cavs now within 1. Same score. Great ball movement from the Cavs. Isaac Okoro gets the layup, giving Cleveland its first lead. And elsewhere, we have this highlight coming up. If Atlanta beat Miami and if Charlotte won, Brooklyn could drop down to the 10 seed in the East. But Kevin Durant is not having that. It's a good thing they got that dude. He went 4 for 6 from 3, finished with 36 points. Nets go up 5, and the dagger from Seth Curry in the corner. Cavs have now lost 8 of their last 10 at the worst possible time. But the news, the Nets remain in control of their own destiny for the 7. Kyrie, that's got to feel good.
No, it feels good. It feels good to be in this position. Hard fought, and we just want to take it one day at a time and get prepared for Indiana coming Sunday. And, have some good results there, get better that day, and then get ready for Tuesday. So it feels good. Like you said, with all the complications, stuff like that, that's the past. Now we just control what we can control. We feel good about it. And obviously it's been a little up and down, but that's part of the NBA.
If teams are ducking you guys by potentially losing on purpose, do you take that as a sign of respect, or do you even think that's a thing?
I don't believe teams are doing that. I think a lot of teams are just, trying to make sure their guys are healthy going into the playoffs, and I don't even really think they worried about us, to be honest. And so we just focus on what we do, and no matter who we play, we just play our game.
So the Cavs and Nets trade spots 7 to 8, and the Cavs will need to win Sunday to even guaranteed holding on to that spot. And they got the Bucks on deck. Brooklyn now will win away from securing home court advantage throughout the play-in, meaning even if they lose the 7-8 game, they'd be at home against the 9-10 winner to get into the playoffs. As it stands today, these teams would run it back on this floor in the first game of the play-in tournament.
Phil, much more NBA on the way. It was just an innocuous technical foul that probably didn't, whether you're playoff or play-in, has been noticeable. The Eastern Conference playoff picture. Final weekend of the regular season. Phil talked about it. If you're just joining us tonight on this Friday night, the Nets are in the driver's seat for the 7 seed. And remember, 7 is critical. You just win 1 playoff game at home, and you are automatically in to the proper playoff fields. It's all about setting playoff positioning and getting to the NBA Finals, something our man Matt Barnes knows all about. Capped his NBA career with a championship of his own. Matt, it's great to have you here tonight on SportsCenter. First things first, we spent so much time looking at the top of the East before Miami finally won it, but I know you've got your eyes trained on the bottom of the Eastern Conference playoff picture. What in particular are you keeping your eye on?
This is an abnormally strange season to think that the Brooklyn Nets were favored early in the season as a possible contender. Now they're biting for a play-in spot. The great storyline of the Cavs, I think they've, finally shed the stigma of what LeBron was doing there. They have a new identity. And then must-watch TV, LaMelo Ball, and then Trae Young, someone who led his team last year. They've struggled this year, but I really think that that play-in situation is going to be crazy, starting with if it ends up being Atlanta versus Charlotte in that 9-10 matchup.
Okay, I'm glad you mentioned the Cavs. By the way, the Cavs are heading back to the playoffs for the first time since LeBron left. They won 22 games last season. Tonight, they fell to the Nets. We know all about Kyrie and KD, but what is going to be the key from getting them out of the play-in round and through the East?
I don't know if they're going to do it. I really don't know if they're going to do it. They're in a tough situation right now. I think this team was ahead of schedule. I think exceeded all expectations. Bernie Bickerstaff Jr. has done a great job with this young team, had some first-time All-Stars, but I really like what the Nets are doing. It's going to be the Nets. You know what you're going to get out of KD and Kyrie, What are the role players going to give you? What is Seth Curry going to give you? What is Bruce Brown going to give you? He's kind of their Swiss Army knife, somewhat in a Draymond Green role. He can score, he can pass, he can play defense, he gets assists. Drummond, I need to see Drummond at a double-double. What are Aldridge and Blake Griffin going to do, Claxton, etc.? The one down thing, obviously, about not possibly having Ben Simmons is they added a lot of depth, which the Nets needed. So we know what their stars are going to do. What are their role players going to be able to do? And if they're going to be able to play their role, we know KD and Kyrie are going to log a lot of minutes and have to score a lot of points. But I like this team's chances because they are so confident because, again, they have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Last thing for you. Speaking of confidence, you just heard Luka Doncic.
Head back to the association. Luka Doncic and the Mavs, winners of 5 of the last 6. 1 game back of the Warriors for the 3 seed in the West. Blazers have lost 9 straight. This one went exactly how you thought it would go. But Luka 1 tech away from a 1-game suspension. He sat down with Malika Andrews earlier this year to discuss that trouble.
Do you keep an eye, though, on the technical fouls that you're racking up just because of the possibility of missing a game because of it?
It won't come to that for sure. That's for sure. It won't come to that. That's unacceptable. I can't do that.
Bad news, he did that. Final seconds of the first quarter. Mavs are up 23. Luka tries to draw a foul on a half-court shot. Tony Brothers doesn't give him the call. Luka complains and gets teed up. His 16th technical foul of the season, meaning he'll miss the Mavs regular season finale, and more importantly, 2 more techs in the playoffs, and he would be suspended for a game. This all unless the league does rescind the technical foul. Third quarter now, the basketball side of things. Luka was on one. Mavs up 30. Doncic went 12 for 21 from the floor, 7 for 14 from 3. Mavs are up 37, having a hard time doing the math. They made it nice and round for us at the end. Mavericks won by 50. Luka had 25 in the third quarter, finished with 39, 11 boards, but the 16 techs, Coach Kidd.
I didn't even ask Tony. Tony was saying that he had to stop the complaining, and so that's the interpretation of a ref trying to keep the game under control. I get it. So it is what it is. It's over with. We get ready to get, for San Antonio. If he can play, he plays. If he can't, he moves on to the playoffs. He starts with a new slate. It's not a big deal.
Well, more importantly for the Mavs at the moment, with the win, they're now a half game behind the Warriors for the 3 seed in the West. Golden State would hold on to that spot with a pair of dubs to end the regular season, but it is worth noting Dallas owns the tiebreaker if these 2 teams finish with the same record.
Malika Andrews, don't worry. The tech situation is not going to catch up with me. But here we are. He gets his 16th tonight. Probably shouldn't have got it. If it's rescinded, it's all good. You spent 14 years in the league. Okay, you're the sage veteran. Pretend you're on a team here with Luka Doncic. Put your arm around the young fellow. What are you telling him right now as we head into this important stretch, the NBA playoffs?
As someone who collected technical fouls for a living, and as bad as the refs can be sometimes, I really wouldn't tell Luka too much. I think he knows how important he is to this team. This technical was actually questionable. I'll be surprised if it's not rescinded, but he has a reputation for complaining, and that's what he's going to have to watch. Luckily, the technical fouls reset in the playoffs. It'll take 7 techs for him to have to miss a game, and I don't see that happening. But, I mean, he knows how important. There is no Dallas Mavericks without Luka Doncic on the floor. They're fighting for that 3rd seed right now. They've been very impressive. But if Luka's not on the court, he's not going to be able to do anything. But, again, I don't see this being a problem come playoff time. If the tech is upheld, he'll just have a little bit more rest going into the playoffs. So, again, like Coach Kidd said, I don't see this being a very big deal.
Great information.